In the year 2028, it's been a decade since the outbreak of the zombie virus. My name is Sua Tianchen, and I'm the last surviving human in this city. As I was bidding farewell to my girlfriend's photo, a zombie lunged at me with its grotesque appearance. Without hesitation, I swung my trusty weapon and blew its head off. Pretty cool, huh? But at that moment, I realized that there was no way out for me. I was alone, surrounded by hordes of attacking corpses. In the next second, I was abruptly awakened by a rather discordant voice. I looked at the teacher standing at the podium, confused as to how I ended up in a classroom. The laughter of my classmates echoed around me, and I realized that I hadn't actually died. So, this is about going back to high school, a peaceful world, before the outbreak of the zombie virus, right? I think I know what you're trying to say. Time travel is indeed a mysterious phenomenon in the history of human evolution, but my past self from 10 years ago felt so weak. Suddenly, I saw a dark figure behind me. Was it an infected person? Without thinking, I smashed the glass, grabbed a shard, and aimed for his throat in the nick of time. He yelled, "Tianchen, what are you doing?" It was only then that I realized it was my good buddy Gao Fai. I had forgotten that this good friend of mine had died at the onset of the zombie virus outbreak. Immediately, I made up my mind that in this life, I would make sure he survived. I had also forgotten that on this very day, Valentine's Day, the apocalypse started at 2 p.m. and me from back. Then was doing something foolish, like confessing my love to the school beauty. Duan Churu, this selfish and self-centered woman, caused the deaths of many people, including Gao Fai. Thinking about it, Duan Churu proudly showed off my love letter in front of our classmates, calling me disgusting. Recalling my experiences from the previous life, I immediately snatched back the love letter and said, "Seeing you also makes me sick." At 2 p.m. this afternoon, a meteorite plummeted into the Earth's atmosphere. It exploded into countless fragments, carrying a virus that spread instantaneously across the globe. The initial individuals infected by the virus fell into a coma, while over 70% of the human population transformed into monsters. The remaining survivors fought back tenaciously upon regaining consciousness. Some of them evolved various abilities, but the infected individuals also evolved in their own way. In the end, our once beloved home turned into a living hell. At this moment, Gao Fai felt that I was acting very differently from before. I called him disgusting in front of the school beauty and started talking about the end of the world. He asked if I was writing a novel. I didn't want to explain too much because the truth would reveal itself eventually. Authors handed him a wallet and asked him to buy high-calorie supplies for himself and his parents, hoping that he would listen to me. As for me, my parents had passed away in a car accident when I was young, so I didn't have as many concerns. I was fortunate to be in a remote location at my school, where the dormitory had ample supplies for living. It was established based on a closed-down factory, making it easier to find weapons. This gave me a natural advantage in the early stages of the apocalypse. However, my current physical condition was too weak. I got tired quickly after running for a short while. Luckily, I found a pry bar, which was much more effective than my previous weapon. The early infected individuals moved slowly, so as long as I maintained a good distance, I would be fine. At that moment, Duan Churu appeared with a group of her cronies. It was because I called her disgusting that she had been following Gao Fai and brought along her boyfriend, who was a sports committee member of our class. They intended to teach me a lesson. However, I wasn't as weak as in the previous life. I picked up the pry bar and gave him a solid hit on the head. Although I didn't manage to knock him out, it was enough to scare him and leave him collapsed on the ground. More exciting events will be revealed in the next video.